Welcome to Power CEOs, the truth behind the business. I'm Jen Gaudet, your fearless host, entrepreneur, investor, and business strategist. Why are we here? Because iron sharpens iron. And when we bring experts, entrepreneurs, industry leaders to talk about what's working in business and even some of what's not, we are all able to learn and grow. As a result, our businesses grow, and that impacts not only ourselves, our teams, and our families, but also our communities and our world. I am here today. I have Vicki Hamilton, CEO and founder of VWH Consulting, here with me again. She and I are going to dive deep into the topics of personal growth and development, work-life balance, and so much more. Welcome back to the show, Vicki.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here. Good to see you, Jen.
Absolutely. Vicki, you know this is like one of our mutual favorite topics. So I want to talk about personal development and how important personal development is as a CEO, as an entrepreneur, in order to be successful in business.
How can you lead if you don't stay up with what's going on? You've got to understand not only your business and how competitors are working, what's happening within the market, the trends, the customers, what they're looking for, etc. And I always do that by saying at the beginning of every year, what course am I going to take to learn a capability this year? What is it that I want to focus on to sharpen my skills, to stay up with what's happening? And it's usually around something where change is going on, right? The things we don't have control over, I want to learn more about. So I put a plan together to get that education. Sometimes that's also by going to associations and understanding I'm going to do so many podcasts in this area. I'm gonna read so many books in this area. I'm going to talk to some experts by attending these conferences. It sets out the trajectory of what I'm going to do in order to continue to lead. And that's whether I'm leading an organization or being an entrepreneur. In fact, as an entrepreneur, how can I ask somebody to hire me if I don't stay up with the times as to what's going on? So for me, it's read, read, read. It's attend important conferences. It's about staying on top of your industry, your business, and continuing to learn.
And you're absolutely right. And what you're really talking about is leading from the front. And we're coaches and consultants, both of us. And I'm just going to call the elephant in the room. If you are looking to get better in your business, if you're looking for that objective perspective and you're looking for a business coach or consultant, don't hire somebody who is not currently being coached or has their own consultants, because they can only take you as far as they are willing to grow. If your coaches and your consultants are not learning and growing, and they're not staying up, then that's not a good fit. And you'll just, it's like throwing money out the window, because what your information you might be integrating, maybe it's marketing information that's 4 years old, and gosh knows things change in marketing every couple of months, if not more quickly than that. So I couldn't agree more. And I want to add something, Vicki, because you talked about having a plan to your education. What skills do I need this year? What am I planning to do? So you not only plan your business and how you're going to grow your business, but you plan your personal and professional development as well. And so talk to me about what happens when, for example, last year, AI all of a sudden became the hot topic. And my plan may not have had that because I didn't have that in my radar as a small business, for example. How do you change and tweak that plan when things in the industry all of a sudden happen? Or we had that rapid inflation and cost structures went up across the board, or supply chain, like when something hits us and maybe it's off plan, how do you adjust that and adapt when these things are happening?
So, when I said that I read every morning, I read and understand what's going on for awareness. If I don't read, I'm not aware when inflation is going on and the predictions of what's happening and how supply chain is going to happen. And then I go, okay, This is not, I need to get more information about this. I'm hearing it, this is going on. Let's talk about it so I can pivot. What do I need to learn? Where do I need to go? So maybe I'll go do that and take something else off my plan. But for me, it's all your planning of your professional development is part of your financial budgeting plan at the beginning of the year, just like everything else. That is extremely important. And I can't help my clients if I'm not staying up. So when I have to pivot, I pivot. And so every morning, part of my ritual is I have certain industry trades, things that I read so I can stay up with what's going on in the areas of the concentration of my business, right? And that's even down to people. What's happening in the human resource area? What's going on with skill sets? What's going on with hiring? What's happening with the technologies? What's happening? All of these things. So I have a ritual. And the thing that I know for a fact is you can never read enough. Never, ever, ever can you read enough. You can't listen to enough podcasts. You can't read enough. You have to do the best you can, but incorporate it into your calendar. It's like a workout. It's my brain workout, just like I work out my body.
And so what you're really talking about is the small habits of success. There are small habits for success that the most successful entrepreneurs engage in every single day. And part of that is learning and growth. So I love this show to have action steps. If you are listening to this today, we are giving you an action step right off the beginning. We just started the show, but put that 15 or 30 minutes into your daily routine every day. Every day, no exceptions, today. Put it in your calendar, and that's time to read. Maybe it's time to read, I don't know, the Wall Street Journal or some other publication to have an idea, even if you're just skimming headlines to see, okay, what don't I know about, so that you can dive deeper. But put that 15 or 30 minutes right now into your calendar so you have the time to read. And I'm going to challenge a little bit more because I know, Vicki, you probably already do this, but just for clarity for those of you listening, don't just read. It's not enough to only read. You read for understanding, which Vicki said, and implementation. So when you read, oh, so there's supply chain issues coming down the pipes. What am I going to do? How is this going to impact my business? How is this going to impact the businesses that I consult, etc.? You think deep, think vertical, and go through that process. And how am I going to apply this knowledge I just read and I just came to an understanding into my business today? Today. This is not I'm going to read and understand, and then next week I'm going to put it in. I want you to put it into your habit, the reading, the understanding, go vertical, immediately follow it with something we've talked about a lot in the show, which is your strategic thinking time. Maybe do 15 minutes reading in your strategic thinking time. How or what am I going to implement in my business today? And so I'm giving you the action step right off the fact because Ms. Vicki just gave you the exercise, and I'm like, okay, it's a yes and. Let's get this going, because the more we learn, the more we arm ourselves with knowledge and improve our skills through conferences, through podcasts, through reading. It only works if we implement the learnings. And so that's our action step for today. How do you like that, Vicki?
I love it. I love it because I do that.
I knew you did. You just didn't say it. So I wanted to just like lay it out with a ribbon and a bow for all of our listeners, because it is literally that one habit of success has been responsible for my success and everyone that I know success, obviously yours, because you're talking about it. So talk to me a little bit about what advice you would give to an aspiring entrepreneur. Maybe they don't have a business yet, but they're considering it, in order to lay that groundwork so they get this habit in order. What should they be reading and learning?
Well, first of all, I think any entrepreneur that's getting started, first you need to understand what you're going into. What am I offering? Why am I offering it? What problem am I solving? Right? Everybody goes to buy a business or a product to solve a problem. But what is that problem? So you have to understand those things first. So that foundation of why you're existing and what problems you're solving and who you're going for is first critical. Then you have to look at all of what I call the wheel tentacles that are attached to that. And that's everything about competitors, about your market, about your customers, about the need. Is it a commodity or not? What does it look like? All of those things in that wheel become extremely important because you got to understand pricing. You got to understand. So your knowledge and how you do that strategic planning up front is necessary so that you can execute to win. You can execute and implement to win. Because if you don't, you could be doing things totally off base and you're not meeting a need. And then you don't make money, right? So I think that it is so important when you first sit down is understanding what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, what it impacts, who I'm serving, what the problem is. And then everything that's attached to that, you need to get knowledgeable about.
I absolutely adore that. That was pure gold. If you were listening, you've already got an action step. It's to put 15 or 30 minutes of reading in and then immediately implement. And if you're thinking about business, Vicki just gave you exactly the recipe to success. We do have to take a brief break, but we will be right back after these messages.
Do you have diabetes? If you have insurance, you may qualify for a new continuous glucose monitor. With a CGM, you can continuously track your levels and trends, spend more time in range, significantly lower your A1C, and share important data with loved ones and caregivers. Most importantly, a CGM eliminates the one thing most people with diabetes hate: painful finger sticks. Take charge of your health. Order your new continuous glucose monitor today. If you use insulin and have seen your diabetes care provider within the last 6 months, you may qualify for a CGM today. We'll do all the insurance paperwork and deliver your new CGM at little or no out-of-pocket cost to you. Medicare and most insurances cover continuous glucose monitors, so don't wait. Have your insurance handy and call the CGM Health Hotline now.
If you're living with diabetes and using insulin, you know the pain of pricking your fingers over and over again. By wearing a small device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you can reduce the pain of pricking your fingers right away. If you use insulin daily, you might be eligible to get your own continuous glucose monitor. So call the US Med Diabetic Health Hotline today and learn about the latest CGM technology. Not only can a CGM immediately reduce pain, it's accurate, easy to use, and helps you make better diabetes treatment decisions. And if you have Medicare or private insurance, you can see if you qualify for a CGM at little or no out-of-pocket cost. We'll also provide free shipping of your new CGM, and we'll bill your insurance company for you. If you use insulin daily, you might be eligible to get your own continuous glucose monitor. So call the US Med Diabetic Health Hotline to see if you qualify for a CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
Taking a trip in the next 12 months? Airlines are under tremendous pressure and they're practically giving away their unsold seats. Like every crisis, this one will end too. But right now is the best time to take advantage of giveaway ticket prices on their unsold seats. We're not allowed to publish these low fares online. The only way to get these rock bottom giveaway prices is to call. So phone low-cost airlines now for airline ticket prices you may never see again. Are you nearly maxed out on your credit cards? It doesn't matter if you're using your credit cards for fun or to survive. At the end of the month, your statements come in, and you can either pay them or you can't. If you can't, late fees and interest rates get tacked on. And now you're struggling just to make the minimum payment due. Do you feel trapped? Am I talking to you? Good, because I personally researched some companies that can help you. They may be able to reduce your credit card balances by 50% and stop the late fees. If you qualify, please call our special debt hotline number right now for a complimentary free 5-minute consultation. Deal with your credit card problem now before it gets much worse and put more money back in your pocket. Trust me, I've been there too. Call right now. Call 855-993-2096 right now. That's 855-993-2096. 993 2096.
Welcome back to Power CEOs, the truth behind the business. If you're just tuning in, before the break, we were talking about the importance of self-development on your growth as a leader in order to be successful in your business. We gave you an action step to put that time in your calendar right now today to read, to learn, to grow, and then immediately implement something in your business to solve that problem. We are here with Vicki Hamilton, CEO and founder of VWH Consulting. And I want to shift gears just a little bit, Vicki, because we've talked a lot. We've had you on, you're one of our guest experts, and we haven't really touched on work-life balance. We've talked about how we don't live to work, we work to live. We have a business to support our lifestyles, our families, our goals to make an impact. But how, as that entrepreneur or that executive, do you manage work-life balance when you're in charge of a large organization? Or even as a solopreneur, let's get real, as a solopreneur, you have a whole different set of challenges in the business, but how do we manage that work-life balance?
So first of all, anything that you want to accomplish, for me, I have to have it on my calendar. If it's not on my calendar, it doesn't happen. So I have my personal stuff on my calendar. I have my work stuff on my calendar. Everything is on my calendar. Now, I believe that work-life balance is a very personal thing, because I know even when I was working, I would go into work early and I'd leave later, and come to find out my people were like, we can't do what you do. Guess what? I didn't ask you to. I just asked you to get your job done, right? But I wasn't working. I was enjoying it. I was having fun. So my work-life balance looked very differently. I took that experience. And when I started doing my entrepreneurship and started looking, I said, there's certain things that are very important to me. I need my workout time. Put it on my calendar, right? I need my prayer time. Put it on my calendar. I need my strategic planning time. Put it on my calendar, right? I want dinner time. Put it on my calendar. Everything went on my calendar. And that's how I began to manage how much can I even handle for customers? How many customers can I take on before I have to go bring other people in if I want to make more money? How much can I really do? And that gave me a good picture, because then I started seeing how much time was really available. That's when I began to appreciate from COVID of not driving. Those 2 hours, going to work, coming back, all of that, it was like I got so much work done, it wasn't funny, right? It created more of a work-life balance, in terms of scheduling. But work-life balance to me is a very personal thing, but everything that I do is on my calendar. My husband and I set our dates up. Now, I've been married almost 27 years. Every Friday night was our date night. Not optional. That night goes on my calendar, right? Saturday nights were family night. Not optional. That goes on my calendar. So you create habits by following what you are recording and doing, and then stick to them. Now, sometimes when I'm working with a client, I may alter some of the client things or whatever. And let's face it, there's going to be times things come up that, I really wanted to do this, but I can't. But you alter. It needs to be the exception, not the rule.
I'm
And
laughing a little bit to myself, Vicki, because you're so right. Life happens, and what I'm hearing very loud and clear, and I just want to reiterate it so that everybody who's listening can get this down. Vicki has priorities. What are the priorities in her life? Her gym time, her spiritual time, her meals. Listen, I've forgotten to put my lunch in, and I've forgotten to eat lunch. And all of a sudden it's 5 p.m. and I haven't eaten lunch because I didn't put it in my calendar. So everything that is a priority in life goes in your calendar first. And then you look at it and you plan your business around that if you're a solo or if you're running a team. It's so incredibly important. I really wanted to stress that, Vicki, because you're so right. And we've heard it before, but if you've heard it before and you haven't done it, guess what? Ding, 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 ding. Yes, you've got an action step. Put it in the calendar. What is your priorities? Vicki, you've talked about a lot of different things. You've talked about health. You've talked about your relationship or your non-negotiable date night. You've talked about your non-negotiable family time. So talk to me about, like, all of those things are other people. Talk to me about what is it that you put, like, what is your non-negotiable for your own mental and emotional health, like that self-care thing, and how do we as entrepreneurs get over the biggest hurdle, which is I feel guilty for taking that time for myself?
There was a time in my life where the guilt was there. We've all experienced it. But one of the things I understood as time went on is I can only be as good for other people as I'm good to myself. And so that's when I put in workout time. That's my time. And I get up every day. I do it at the same time. They know not to interrupt me. They know that's my personal time. That is my time. My spiritual time, I had to have that. That was my time. So those are the things that I put in that were for me. My meditation time. So in between meetings on my calendar. So after so many meetings, I have 5 minutes and I do meditation. I have time that I take to meditate, to keep my strength up, to rejuvenate, etc. But that's what I do for me. Now, once a month, I want to go get my hair done. I do that for me. Getting my nails done. I do that for me. I get a massage, once a quarter. That's for me. So I build in those things for my mental and emotional well-being that I know I need for me. And the guilt went away because I became a much better person. I was happy.
And it really goes so much further too, because as a leader, when we model those behaviors and when our teams see those behaviors, there's a lot of buzz around work-life balance and about corporate wellness and all these things. But if we as leaders are not demonstrating these values, it doesn't matter what we do, we're not leading from the front, and people watch our example. So even if we have a policy or we have a wellness program in place, if we're not taking care of ourselves as leaders, that is not setting the example that's a value that our company has. And so it's really important for our teams. And something that I really want to ask you is, do you share this with the people that you consult with the members of your team? Because some people find this a personal decision, but I believe in, with my coaching clients, my consulting clients, and my team, I share when I have mess ups, like when I accidentally overwrite my non-negotiables, because I might be a little bit more short that day, and I have that awareness. But do you share this with your teams? Is this something that we should be more open with as leaders? What does that look like in the workplace?
So that's a very good question, Jen. But first of all, I believe we train people how to work with us. You teach people how to treat you. And so my clients know I work out at my workout time. They know my meditation time. They know what those non-negotiables are. And when an exception comes up, I understand that those happen and I'm flexible, but they understand that. And if I'm having a bad day, right? If I didn't get that workout in that day and I am just like not with it, I'll get with a client and say, look, I need a couple seconds. I'm trying to gather myself together because I didn't get that critical workout this morning. And that workout keeps me going. So if you can just give me 2 minutes, let me pull things together so that we can get started so I can give you the best version of me, right? But honesty, authenticity is the most critical thing you can do. Because if you come in as a consultant as if everything is perfect every day and that's not real, your clients know it's not real. Your clients know that you're human and things happen. So let's give each other the grace that we need on both sides. And so that client understands I can make a mistake too, but I can be honest about it, right? So that's where I think the truthfulness comes into play, being very honest, your authenticity, in terms of making those things happen, because we're all human.
You're absolutely right. And it's really funny. This is about setting boundaries in the beginning of a relationship. And I do the same thing. I tell my clients, you can text me anytime. Doesn't mean I'm going to listen. Doesn't mean I'm going to I have digital downtime, because to me, digital time is negative on my mental health. And we're on Zoom and we're in meetings and we're on computers all day during the workday. Well, come a certain time at night, I'm not checking. And they know that I'm here no matter what, but they're, that notification isn't going to ring because it's gone after a certain time, because sleep is a priority for me. And that's where we rest, we recover. And it's important for my critical thinking skills. And so, but I messaged that in the beginning. And I think you said that you train people how to work with us. This is about messaging in the beginning of the relationship. Hey, this is what my commitment is to you as a leader, as a coach, as a consultant, as a team member, as a CEO. And this is what I expect from you in return. And let's just have that open dialogue. So I really appreciate that honest authenticity, that owning. It's really about owning when we're off plan, so that people see and we're vulnerably sharing first as leaders, so that it opens that psychological safety. So people say, look, I'm not perfect. You don't have to live up to some ridiculous myth. That the reality is, I'm going to own that I didn't do this. I'm going to own that I'm not in the right headspace. I need a few minutes. Let me come back as my best self and then take it from there. So fantastic. We do have to take a brief break, but we will be right back after these messages.
How would you like to go on a 5-star vacation for just $99? We're talking about the quality of a Westgate resort for $99. Not for one night, but for 3 fantastic nights at one of their luxurious destinations across the United States. And you'll even get a free $100 Visa gift card just for making a reservation. We've got some of the choicest destinations that you'll love in the United States that you can choose from for just $99 for a 3-night stay. Take your family, take a special loved one, but get away. Go on vacation with Westgate Resorts. Call now to make a reservation for just $99, and you get a free $100 Visa gift card. Call Westgate right now and book your vacation. Here's the number.
Call 877-930-3491. That's 877-930-3491. Again, 877-930-3491.
If you're on supplemental oxygen, heavy and awkward tanks can be a burden. Now you can leave home and leave the tanks behind with Inogen, portable oxygen therapy that moves with you.
With my Inogen, now I'm able to do the things that I've always loved. I just press the button here, and there's my oxygen.
Inogen systems are so small and light, you're free to leave the house without the hassles of an oxygen tank.
I could play golf again. I could go grocery shopping. I'm free again.
With the Inogen, I can handle my own oxygen. I can carry my own oxygen. I go anywhere with this. Look how small it is.
And right now, you can try an Inogen portable oxygen system for 30 days risk-free. Call us right now. If you qualify, we'll send you an Inogen system to use for 30 days risk-free. Your insurance may even cover your new Inogen system.
If you're on oxygen, you need to be using an Inogen.
Call 800-367-1753. That's 800-367-1753.
Do you have a car sitting around you want to get rid of? Well, here's a great idea. Donate your car now to help local veterans in your area. Yes, just make one fast call to the Veteran Car Donation Program. Within a few days, we'll come and remove your car for free. You can donate any car in any condition. We'll use our vast network to sell it. The proceeds raised go to help local veterans and their families. And you get a tax deduction. And all you need to do is make this free call. Clean your yard up, get rid of an old car, and help the vets. We make it easy. Make this free call now. Book your fast and easy pickup. Call the Veteran Car Donation Program now.
Welcome back to Power CEOs, the truth behind the business. If you're just tuning in, you're going to want to go to nowmedia.tv, click on shows, and catch the first part of today's show because it has been pure gold. We have been talking about time management, work-life balance, but we started with how do we continue our personal and professional development as a CEO, as an entrepreneur, so that we can continue to lead from the front. I am here with Vicki Hamilton. She is a complete rock star talking to us about these amazing topics that are so critical in entrepreneurship. So Vicki, let's turn the topic towards trends. We all know that we have seen so much difference from marketing to the way sales are done to how consumers are spending to pricing. And it just keeps changing. So what trends do you predict are going to impact your industry in the next couple of years?
Well, I think that the number one trend that we're going to see is the speed of technology changes, period. Technology is going to impact everything we do, and it has been the impetus for a lot of things that have happened from trends perspective. When you think about how has marketing, technology is impacted. When you have to think about consumers, technology is impacted. Because, you know, as we become more and more of a microwave society, people want things quicker, faster, easier. You know, they want to be able to access. All those things become important. So I think that as technology is advancing hourly, minutes, I mean, it changes so fast and the impacts are so important. It just means that we have to have more discipline around understanding and taking the time to learn how those things are impacting our specific industry and markets and moving forward. So that's the number one thing I think it's going to happen. I think the other thing is that our economy is going to always go through changes. We're going to have good years. We're going to have bad years. We're going to have more inflation. We're going to have less inflation. And I think that the importance of staying on top of understanding where the financial industries are going and impacts is going to be critical to our success. Because at the end of the day, it impacts what people want to buy, how much they're going to spend, where they're going to invest in, what challenges they're trying to overcome. It impacts, you know, how our industries indeed grow. Do they stop? Do, you know, have things happen in the market that's going to cause where people are going to close down? Things aren't going to go through. There's all kinds of things that I think are there. So the number one is technology. Number two is our market and financial trends.
And so I really want to dive a little bit deeper in there because, you know, everybody has heard the buzzword. AI is a buzzword, but it really is about technology, automation, making things faster, more effective, more efficient so that we can get back to being human in business. As we think about technology, one of the things that I've noticed is people get caught with kind of shiny object syndrome. Oh, there's an AI for that. There's an AI for everything, but is it the right integration or implementation for your business, for your industry, for what you're doing? How do we sort through the noise, whether we're talking about new technology and what to implement, or whether we're sorting through the media noise? We're in an election year right now, and let's face it, this is what's happening, and you hear all kinds of things. And how do we find the facts amongst the fiction, and so that we're not shiny object and we're focused on what's really happening and really gonna take our business to the next level?
So, you know, as we talk a lot about research and understanding what's happening, and, you know, as I talked on about understanding that cognitive wheel for your business, I think all the things that you're that you're speaking about when it's like there's a lot of noise, you know, we can do AI for the sake of doing AI and waste an investment and waste a lot of money, a lot of time. I think it's so important that we are intentional about the connection of our business to whatever we're implementing and whatever we're looking at. So if they are, you know, as there's AI things out there to do everything, yeah, that app may be there, but that's not going to benefit me for what I'm trying to do because it's not part of my core. It's not part of the core things that are going to be important as I continue to move forward or my strategy. but it's a nice shiny object, right? And you understand those things when you begin to understand more about from your reading of what's happening within the industry, what's happening in the market, what's going on with your particular business segment that's going on. So you have to separate that based upon what your needs are at that point. Understand where you are in your life cycle. A beginning entrepreneur is going to be very different than somebody who's further along, right? A mature product is going to be very different than an immature product. So I think you have to understand where you are life cycle wise. You have to understand those impacts and then decipher based upon, okay, I can get this shiny out, but what's it really going to do for me? What's the outcome? Is it really going to solve my problem? Or am I just buying a shiny object? You talked about being an election year. Now, being election year, there's so much up in the air. Nobody knows what's going to happen, who's going to put in what guidelines, what change is going to be there. Nobody knows. So it's, again, planning for those things of possibilities that we don't know, understanding those contingencies as we talked about, but really focusing on what is going to move your business based upon the learnings and the information that's available.
And so I really want to make this, I want to take this full circle because it starts with intentionality. It's next, understanding the operations of your business, what problem you're solving, how you're going to solve it, and where you're moving in the future, how you're solving those problems for the people that you serve. And so if we look at everything at a high level through that lens, what I just heard you say, Vicki, for those of you at home is always think about where is my business going? What are my strategic business initiatives? And is there a technology that is going to help me get there faster, that is aligned with those strategic initiatives, with where I'm going, solving the problem for my clients in a way that is going to make it better for them ultimately? So if we always have that intentional lens and we always look through our business as opposed to listening to the noise, then we can seek out intentionally the technologies that are going to work. We can follow and learn in alignment with where we're going and growing. Because quite frankly, there's some technologies out there, we could read about it because it's cool, but it's never going to impact our business. And so that's valuable minutes that we could be using to find the thing that is going to solve a problem for our business or make us better. So thank you for putting that together. I just wanted to wrap it up with a bow because it was such great content. And so let me ask you, where are you looking? What are the emerging markets that you're looking to for expansion based off of, what's happening technological and in financial markets?
Well, I will tell you, I really, really enjoy the innovation space and doing accelerations and staying up with disruptive technology. I don't know that I'll get away from that as I am in business going forward until that one day I retire, sell my business and retire. But I will always stay in that space because I enjoy it. And I also enjoy it because one of the other things that I know is always going to be important and never change is change management, because change is the only thing we can count on. So as long as there's change management, it means I get to deal with people. I get to help people and to serve. So I want to be able to continue to influence that change. I want to be able to influence the change of helping others to accept change, to understand how to deal with the change so that they too can grow and develop. And so I think that, when I start to look at myself and say, gosh, what are the things that are really going to be important? Everything I've talked about is an influence to also my ability to be able to serve and help CEOs of small businesses. Again, the technology, the financial, the change, etc. And I think I will always be able to adapt those things of where the markets are changing, financials are changing, the economy is changing, people are changing. Because at the end of the day, it's all about individuals. People do the work, not organizations.
You're absolutely right. And we started I think our very first conversation together was about hiring the people for fit and building that key culture. And so we really have come full circle, because change management is about influencing people. It's about empowering people to be the absolute best, to show up in that absolute best way. And specifically what I heard is empowering the CEOs of small business through their tech financial change management challenges. And so Vicki, you have been such a joy, such a pleasure today. How can people reach out to you if they would like to learn more or maybe engage with you in some of these areas?
Well, thank you so much. I am on all social media platforms. So you can get me on LinkedIn, you can get me on Facebook, you can get me on Instagram, Twitter. I'm on all of them. And then please feel free to go to my website at VickiWrightHamilton.com. Set us some time to chat. I would love to have an opportunity to talk to anybody and see where there might be opportunities where I can serve and help you.
Thank you again for your expertise, Vicki. It's been such a pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
And so just to wrap this up in a bow, things happen, trends happen. There is a lot of change in business. We have to deal with it. What we want to do is make sure that it aligns with our business. It aligns with where we want to go, intentionally seeking out the technology, intentionally dealing with what we are facing in a way that's going to optimize our business. And so we do have to take a brief break, but we will be right back after these messages.
How would you like to go on a 5-star vacation for just $99? We're talking about the quality of a Westgate resort for $99. Not for one night, but for 3 fantastic nights at one of their luxurious destinations across the United States. And you'll even get a free $100 Visa gift card just for making a reservation. We've got some of the choicest destinations that you'll love in the United States that you can choose from for just $99 for a 3-night stay. Take your family, take a special loved one, but get away. Go on vacation with Westgate Resorts. Call now to make a reservation for just $99, and you get a free $100 Visa gift card. Call Westgate right now and book your vacation. Here's the number.
Call 877-930-3491. That's 877-930-3491. Again, 877-930-3491.
Are you nearly maxed out on your credit cards? It doesn't matter if you're using your credit cards for fun or to survive. At the end of the month, your statements come in, and you can either pay them or you can't. If you can't, late fees and interest rates get tacked on. And now you're struggling just to make the minimum payment due. Do you feel trapped? Am I talking to you? Good, because I personally researched some companies that can help you. They may be able to reduce your credit card balances by 50% and stop the late fees. If you qualify, please call our special debt hotline number right now for a complimentary free 5-minute consultation. Deal with your credit card problem now before it gets much worse and put more money back in your pocket. Trust me, I've been there too. Call right now.
Call 855-993-2096 right now. That's 855-993-2096.
If you're on supplemental oxygen, heavy and awkward tanks can be a burden. Now you can leave home and leave the tanks behind with Inogen, portable oxygen therapy that moves with you.
With my Inogen, now I'm able to do the things that I've always loved. I just press the button here, and there's my oxygen.
Inogen systems are so small and light, you're free to leave the house without the hassles of an oxygen tank.
I could play golf again. I could go grocery shopping. I'm free again.
With the Inogen, I can handle my own oxygen. I can carry my own oxygen. I go anywhere with this. Look how small it is.
And right now, you can try an Inogen portable oxygen system for 30 days risk-free. Call us right now. If you qualify, we'll send you an Inogen system to use for 30 days risk-free. Your insurance may even cover your new Inogen system.
If you're on oxygen, you need to be using an Inogen.
Call 800-367-1753. That's 800-367-1753.
Welcome back to Power CEOs, the truth behind the business. If you're just tuning in, you're going to want to go to nowmedia.tv, click on shows and catch the whole show because it has been power-filled, jam-packed with amazingness, and you're not going to want to miss a moment of it. But we are going to shift gears because I have with us today Ryan Stofko, and he is going to share a little bit about what has set him up for success. Ryan is an expert in human biology and sleep ethology, and he's built his business around taking care of his clients and helping them accomplish their personal and professional goals. So Ryan, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Jen.
I'm really excited about this because we were talking in the break, and I know I said I was going to ask this second, but I want to ask this first. You have a different philosophy towards business. We were talking about how some people, they look at their financial metrics and they are completely motivated to achieve those goals. And you're a caregiver at heart, which I can identify with after being in medicine for so long. So talk to me a little bit about the keys to success in building your business with this value first model.
Absolutely. One of the things that I prioritize above all else is health and well-being of the individual who consults me. So with my business, the tools that I provide and the value that I provide to my client is solely focused on making sure that they're at their best and that they're cognitively and emotionally at their best when they're going about their daily activities. That's what I bring to the table with human biology, but also sleep pathology.
And so as we bring your expertise and your core expertise into the business standpoint, talk to me a little bit about how you've balanced risk, because entrepreneurship is all about risk. Business is taking risk. How do you balance the risk with innovation in your business decisions? Because you're in a fast-moving, ever-evolving health technology space. So talk to me about how you balance that risk and innovation and how you make the decisions in your business.
Well, when there's different opportunities that present themselves, one of the first things that I think about is long-term, is this going to be an opportunity that if I commit to, it's going to actually provide some sort of value for me. And if I decide that opportunity is worth the time and effort, I'm going to go all in at that point. One of the things that I try my best whenever an opportunity presents itself is I try my best to highlight any of the red flags or any of the concerns that I see that, not just short term in the now, but also, in the future, might impact how I'm living my life or designing my business. So that's the best that I can respond.
Let me ask you a question. Do you have a decision matrix? Like, I know you're a very methodical thinker, you're very strategic, and you're kind of an analyst in the way that you think. So do you have sort of a decision matrix before opportunities arise that you kind of shifted through, if this, then that, or an algorithm that you use? Talk to me a little bit about what that looks like before an opportunity presents itself, and then how you sift and sort through what comes in your door.
So I have I use a model called AQUA. It stands for assess, quantify, understand, and then address. So it's kind of like John Boyd's OODA loop, if you ever heard of that. So whenever an opportunity presents itself, the first thing I have to do is, okay, I didn't know it existed. So I have to do all of my due diligence, all of my background research, and I have to make sure that, there's actually going to be some sort of value with that particular opportunity. Then when it comes to quantify, it depends on the nature of the opportunity. Usually what I look for is if the individual is someone that has shared values and they align with the values that I'm working towards, that is, an opportunity I won't pass up. That comes usually at the quantification stage or the understanding stage. And then at the addressing stage, I always make sure I never make a decision I always make sure I at least build 24 hours into my decision-making process. So if I have some smooth talking businessman that comes up to me and convinces me of something that's really cool and, piques my interest, I'll never commit at that point until I've at least taken 24 hours to sleep on the decision and think about all the different angles of whatever opportunity presents itself.
I think that's very, very smart. And, way too many times do people take the emotional response and just what happens is we overcommit a lot of times, or we make poor decisions. So I really like that you sleep on it. Can I ask you a little bit deeper? When you look at partnerships, and you said, does this person share values? Do they align with the values, or we're working towards the same goals? Like, once they pass that filter, are there any other things that you test? Do you look at stressful situations or explore that, or poke at them to see how they respond in adversity before you make a decision on a partnership?
Me personally, I don't have any system like that in place, but I do know that there's other groups that do have those types of systems in place, and it's very important to have that. Because one of the things, when you're choosing what partners you want to work with, you might make an observation and somebody seems great, but then at that point, consistency becomes very important. So there's a time variable attached to that. So you're absolutely correct that there needs to be a system, in your executive decision-making process that, I guess, holds people to a performance standard. But currently, I don't utilize that. I'm somebody that, given the nature of what OPP NeuroSpa does, I'm more focused on understanding every aspect of the individual who consults me, and then functioning almost like a second brain, with ideas to consider before that individual makes their own decision. Because we all have blinders, whether that's from subject matter expertise that we learned. We can't learn everything, in the short time that we have in this life. Or there might be other elements of how certain groups do business that you've never been exposed to. So having a second brain, that helps you through that process, very important.
I couldn't agree more. In fact, I'm a huge proponent of coaches. I have multiple coaches, mentors, always, and I run things, especially big business decisions, by them, because I know the thing. I agree with you. We get kind of, I guess it's blinders, but it's not even so much blinders as we learn through mistakes. It's kind of like we get excited about something, or we can see the possibility, and we can see the potential. And even if we've gone through the red flags that we have, there's always a different perspective, and more eyes are always better than one. And I want to ask one other question, because you said you assess if there's value, you assess the opportunity. Do you ever look at it from is this going to detract from what I'm already doing? Because a lot of times entrepreneurs will, and I get feedback on the show all the time. I have all of these opportunities. All of them are going to be great for business. All of them have value. How do I choose between the ones? And how do I know whether I want to drop something that I'm already doing because it's not working? What does that look like in your process?
Great question. So the first thing is you have to know what you as an individual want. If you actually know what you're working towards, then that's the first step there. And then at that point, you're absolutely correct. Every human being has strengths or weaknesses. I don't care what what walk of life you live in. I can go up to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and I can go, to the untouchable population in India. Every human being has some sort of strength or value that can be leveraged. So, at that point, you're absolutely correct. If I know what I'm working towards, and then if I see a force or another human being, coming my way that has a lot of weaknesses that would detract me from working towards my mission, it would probably be a good idea to, ignore or walk in a different direction from whatever force or influence, is detracting me from my goals. But that said, I'm a mental health expert in a light. So when somebody reaches out to me and they're asking for help, that's where I have to make sure that the individual is actually committed and willing to invest time in themselves. Because if they're willing to invest in themselves, I'm willing to invest my time to assist them.
Absolutely. We can't cause people to change. They have to want to change themselves, and they have to want to take action. And fortunately, in healthcare, there are a lot of times that's that way. It's the bane of most clinicians. It's called non-compliance, right? Hey, this is what's going to help you, and then they don't do it. It's because they're not invested enough in themselves, and we can't want it more than they do. So the same applies to business. I love that perspective. So if we were to give everyone who's watching the steps, like if they're sitting here watching, they're like, okay, great, I have all these opportunities. They're all great opportunities. I heard make sure that you know what you want and where you're headed, and you assess it. What would you say is the action that they could take today that will move their business powerfully forward?
Reach out and get a coach or a mentor that actually aligns with your goals. Be very diligent in which type of mentor you welcome into your life. But once you find one or two mentors or coaches that supplement what you're working towards, bring them into your life as soon as possible and start growing alongside them.
Awesome. I couldn't agree more. Like, you're talking my language now. So Ryan, thank you so much for your expertise today. How can our viewers and listeners reach out to you if they would like to learn more?
So I have a website. My website is www.ryanstafko.com. And then my phone number is 216-978-9389. I just wanted to mention my website is designed in a way to have you call me. It's not designed to send emails or anything along those lines. Please call me. And the first thing that I'm going to do is offer you a 90-minute discovery call. No obligations. All you have to do is ask all your questions and come and learn about the technologies that I can offer you.
Thank you so much for bringing your valuable expertise to us today. I really appreciate you, Ryan.
Thanks for having me, Jen.
Absolutely. And you, yes, you, it is time for you to take action. You heard the man. He told you, if you are stuck in business or you're looking at a bunch of opportunities, find coaches, find mentors, find people to give you that objective perspective. That is your action step to take today, not tomorrow, not next week, but today. Because today is the day where we can take control over our businesses, our lives, and move ourselves powerfully forward. Unfortunately, all good things do come to an end, including this show. But the good news is we'll be back the same time, same station next week. But until then, win today, win this week, and we'll see you next time.
This has been a Now Media Networks feature presentation. All rights reserved.
Taking a trip in the next 12 months? Airlines are under tremendous pressure and they're practically giving away their unsold seats. Like every crisis, this one will end too. But right now is the best time to take advantage of giveaway ticket prices on their unsold seats. We're not allowed to publish these low fares online. The only way to get these rock bottom giveaway prices is to call. So phone low-cost airlines now for airline ticket prices you may never see again.
If you're living with diabetes and using insulin, you know the pain of pricking your fingers over and over again. By wearing a small device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you can reduce the pain of pricking your fingers right away. If you use insulin daily, you might be eligible to get your own continuous glucose monitor. So call the US Med Diabetic Health Hotline today and learn about the latest CGM technology. Not only can a CGM immediately reduce pain, it's accurate, easy to use, and helps you make better diabetes treatment decisions. And if you have Medicare or private insurance, you can see if you qualify for a CGM at little or no out-of-pocket cost. We'll also provide free shipping of your new CGM, and we'll bill your insurance company for you. If you use insulin daily, you might be eligible to get your own continuous glucose monitor. So call the US Med Diabetic Health Hotline to see if you qualify for a CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
Do you have diabetes? If you have insurance, you may qualify for a new continuous glucose monitor. With a CGM, you can continuously track your levels and trends, spend more time in range, significantly lower your A1C, and share important data with loved ones and caregivers. Most importantly, a CGM eliminates the one thing most people with diabetes hate: painful finger sticks. Take charge of your health. Order your new continuous glucose monitor today. If you use insulin and have seen your diabetes care provider within the last 6 months, you may qualify for a CGM today. We'll do all the insurance paperwork and deliver your new CGM at little or no out-of-pocket cost to you. Medicare and most insurances cover continuous glucose monitors.